Hello friends, welcome to Shiksharthi. In this session, we shall be discussing the various trigonometric ratios of sine and cos lying in all the four quadrants. So let's start. Now the prerequisite for this session is that you should know the line makes an angle in the clockwise direction or the anti-clockwise direction. This is the first thing that you need to know. You should have the know-how about the quadrants and the various values of theta that have to be taken in various quadrants. If there is a value of theta given as, let's say, 731 degrees, you should be able to say that this particular value lies in the first quadrant, etc. Third important thing that you need to know here is sine and cos, the various values or the trigonometric ratios of sine and cos in each of the quadrant in terms of whether it is, first is that you should know the value. If you do not know the value, you should know at least the polarity of the value that you would be getting. That will give you some knowledge in terms of in which quadrant is this value going to lie. Okay. So you would see that there is a diagram that I have drawn, a circle, a rectangle, etc., which I have already discussed in my earlier session. So this should not be new to you in case if you have gone through my earlier session, in which we had basically established few facts using the concept of congruency or using the properties of a rectangle. Now here we know that the rectangle, the quadrilateral x, y, u, z is a rectangle because the Cartesian plane that we have drawn here, we have used the BPH rule. B here you know is the base, P is the perpendicular, and H is the hypotenuse. And you would see that we have used a red colored writing for writing the values of various values of theta lying on that particular axis. For example, 0 degree lies in the first quadrant, which is on the x-axis in the first quadrant, or you can say x-axis, which is common to the first and the third quadrant. Now, so this, please remember that even the x-axis is a line which is common to the first quadrant and the third quadrant. Then let us talk about the plus y line, which lies in both the second, or let's say it's common to the second and the first quadrant. Then we are talking about minus side of x-axis, which is minus b, which is common to the second and the third quadrant, on which we have the value of theta being equal to 180 degrees, so which we can call it as a straight line. So when we say that theta is equal to 0 degrees, that means it is a mere point that you have made. When you say theta is between a 0 degree to a 90 degree, that means we are talking about an acute angle. When theta is equal to 90 degrees, that means we are talking about the positive hand of the y-axis. When we are talking about theta lying between a 90 degree to 180 degrees, that means we are talking about an obtuse angle. When we are talking about theta being equal to 180 degrees, that means we are referring to the negative side of x-axis or the negative hand of x-axis, which here is represented by minus b. So the moment theta makes an angle of 180 degrees, that means we are talking about a straight line. In this case, let's say we are talking about VW. When we say theta is between 180 degrees to a 270 degrees, we are talking about a reflex angle. When we say that we are talking about theta is equal to 270 degrees, that means we are talking about the negative hand of y-axis, which in this case is represented by minus p. And when we say theta lying between 270 degrees to a 360 degrees, again it is a reflex angle only. Finally, when you talk about theta being equal to a 360 degrees, that is how a circle is formed. So what we have done basically here is we have just tried to bring the coordinate, geometry, angle along with geometry and mensuration angle to give it a kind of synergy between all these topics, because all these topics essentially are going to go hand in hand. You cannot separate one from them. That means now the stage that we are talking about is a stage which is an application stage, in which the prior or the previous learnings are to be put to use. Let's see how. So now when we are talking about, we know that a P divided by H is, we are basically, and let's take, so this is the outcome of a trigonometric ratio, and this trigonometric ratio, let's say, is denoted by sine of plus theta, which is sine theta, where theta is nothing but a value which lies in the first quadrant. Incidentally, if I talk about this diagram, we are basically referring to the angle YOW, which is theta. At the same time, we know that WOU also is theta. HOV also we have taken it as theta. It's not a question of taking it, you can prove it also from it. So you can use all the concepts of vertically opposite angles, etc., to prove that all these values are the same. So at the same time, we can say the angle BOZ also is theta. Now let me put it as plus sine theta. Now can I say that this would be, if I'm talking about the first quadrant, which other value? So when I'm talking about the first quadrant, that means I'm talking about now the complementary angle theory. So I know if I refer to the triangle ROY, in that case the angle ROY in the anti-clockwise direction is 90 minus theta that we have already taken, right? So now in that case, can I say this is equal to plus of, now we know that cos of this angle, which is cos of O, I mean cos of angle 90 minus theta is equal to base, which in this case is RO upon hypotenuse, which is OY. So in that case, the answer will again be plus P by H. So can I say this is the same as cos of 90 minus theta? I can. So by now, I think you would realize that, I mean, first is what is the importance of the diagram that we have made here. Second, by now you would see that all these values that we are getting, you need not mug them up. Now the moment we move to the second quadrant, so you would see that how are we able to relate it with the table that has been drawn here? Both sine and cos need to be positive in the first quadrant, which we have got. Now let's move on to the second quadrant. So in this case, I know that P by H plus P by H will be nothing but sine of. So the moment I'm moving on to the second quadrant, let me talk about the angle WOX. I repeat, let me talk about the angle WOX. What is the measure of that angle? The measure of that angle is sine of 180 minus theta. So from here, you'll be able to use the supplementary angle theory also, which says sine of 180 minus theta. Naturally, all these values we are taking it in degrees only. So when I'm saying theta, I'm basically referring to theta being equal to some degrees. So can I say sine theta will be equal to sine of 180 minus theta? Yes, and both of them would be equal to plus P by H, of course. And this would be equal to minus times of cos of 180 minus theta. Why minus? Because I know that cos is negative in the second quadrant, or you could have said that when I'm taking cos of 180 minus theta, I am basically referring to what? Let us talk about the triangle HOR. Now when I am talking about the triangle HOR, that angle is basically 90 minus theta. So cos of 90 minus theta, and you add another 90 degrees to it. So cos of 90 minus theta will be equal to base, which is P upon the hypotenuse. So you would not refer to that triangle. Why can't we refer to that triangle? Because when you are talking about 180 minus theta, so I am basically referring to which angle? I am referring to the angle WOH. So either I talk about the angle WOX, or we talk about the angle VOX. So when I refer to the triangle VOX, in that case I'll say cos of theta we're assuming that theta is in any case an angle which is lying in the second quadrant, which is analogous to saying cos of 180 minus theta would be the same as base, which is, now in that case the base is how much? This is your base upon the hypotenuse, right? So let me put it like this now. So can I say that now, instead of saying that this is cos of 180 minus h, which would be incorrect to say, but I can always say that these values are equal. And why is it incorrect to say that this is equal to cos of 180 minus h? Because it is not giving you the value as p by h. Okay. Now, can we go further and can I say that this will be equal to, so the moment I move into the third quadrant, so we already know that VOZ is again equal to theta. So 180 degrees is what we have already completed plus theta. So can I say this is sine of 180 plus theta and minus times of this. Why minus times of this? Because sine 180 plus theta means the value of theta lies in the third quadrant, in which the sign will assume a negative value, and negative into negative makes it positive. At the same time, can I say that this is equal to minus times of sine of 270 minus theta, which is just like saying theta lies in the third quadrant still, which is just like saying now this is equal to minus times of sine of 360 minus theta. I hope you are understanding what I am trying to convey here. Right? Okay. Now once you have done this, and now if I want to draw a synergy between a 90 plus theta. Now 90 plus theta is just like saying that this value is going to lie in the second quadrant, and if I am finding out the value of sine in the second quadrant, the value of sine would be positive in the second quadrant. Okay, so but if I am finding out the value of cos in the second quadrant, will it be positive or negative? That will be negative. So can I say this will be equal to minus times of cos of 90 plus theta? Of course. So once you have done this, in that case you already know that the value p by h is equal to sine theta, which is equal to cos of 90 minus theta, which is equal to minus times of cos of 90 plus theta, which is again equal to plus times of sine of 180 minus theta, which can also be equated to minus times of sine of 180 plus theta, which finally can be equated to minus times of 270 minus theta and minus times of 360 minus theta. Okay, so you can finally relate to it. You can. So once you have done this, it becomes easier for you to relate with all the values of various trigonometric ratios that you are supposed to find out. The same thing you can do for various values of cos theta as well, which I am giving it to you as a take home, but just to give you a jump start here. Now we know that this is cos theta. Can I say this is equal to plus cos theta? I can. So at the same time, we know that sin theta and cos theta are positive in the first quadrant. Do we know that, is there any other quadrant in which the sine and cos have the same values? Forget about whether they are positive or negative. So sine and cos have the same values, I mean the same polarities in the first quadrant and the third quadrant. So can I say when I am talking about the third quadrant, so third quadrant is just like saying this is equal to cos of 180 plus theta. Okay, so now this becomes minus, and thereafter you can deduce it like this. So you would see how many values have I taken finally here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is there any other value that I can take here? So I can take theta, I can take 90 minus theta, I can take 90 plus theta, I can take 180 minus theta, assuming that theta is an acute angle. So I know that 90 plus theta and 180 minus theta is just like taking it in the second quadrant, assuming that theta is an acute angle. So this is how you can take your learnings to the next level, wherein you are not supposed to memorize the values, and it becomes very easy for you to decode and draw a synergy between various values of sine and cos. So one last thing that I would like to talk about here is, now when I say theta, so I am basically referring to theta being equal to 0 degrees, 30 degrees, 45 degrees, 60 degrees and 90 degrees. These are few things that you need to know, and discussing whatever we have discussed till now, what I'm suggesting here is, now if I take theta is equal to 45 degrees, what right angle triangle will I draw here? I know that both these arms would be equal if I take this triangle as XYZ. Now when I take this as XYZ, I know if this hand, which is XY, is P, even YZ would be P. In that case, this becomes how much? P root 2. Correct? And let me take this angle as theta. In that case, we know that this angle becomes 90 minus theta. Okay. So what I'm suggesting here is, now if I say that P square plus P square is equal to 2P square, instead of taking this, take this as, if I say that this is 2P square plus 2P square, what will I get? I'll get this, the hypotenuse, as a 4P square under root, the value of the hypotenuse. So let's say if I take the square root of this, this is what we are going to get, right? So now I know that cos is basically what? Base upon hypotenuse. Let me put this as, so now if I were to see the values of sine and cos, let me take it as sine and cos instead of cos. So sine and cos, using whatever we have done, as I discussed earlier also, that this session would be more about applying whatever we would have done in geometry, coordinate geometry, trigonometry till now, taking this as the mean value. The mean value here refers to, I am saying that take this as under root of 1 by 4. And from where does this come? It comes from here only. When I say h by p is equal to 1 by under root of 4. And then I keep on increasing the numerator, keeping the denominator constant. So finally, if I were to put whatever I have discussed till now to the best use, let me see how can I use all these things to get the values of some basic trigonometric ratios of sine and cos. For that, I am just taking this triangle. This is an isosceles right angle triangle, wherein the vertices that I have taken here are x, y and z. Now if I take this as P, if this becomes P, in that case this becomes P root 2. So let me say this angle is theta. So in that case sine theta becomes how much? So I know that, why have I written this as theta? Now if this is theta, in that case this angle will also be theta. So what are we saying? Basically, we are saying theta is nothing but it is equal to a 45 degrees. So the easiest value to find out with the help of trigonometry or maybe Pythagoras theorem here is to find out the value of sine 45 degrees, which we know is nothing but p divided by the hypotenuse, which is p root 2, and this we can write it as 1 divided by root 2. Now for the further, let me just write down this, the equivalent fraction for this. So can I write this as square root of 1 divided by 2? Yes. At the same time, an equivalent fraction of 1 by 2 could be 2 by 4. Why have I written this? In few minutes you would understand why have I written it like this. So let me say sine, cos, and then the values of theta. So one is 0 degrees, 30 degrees, followed by a 45 degrees, followed by a 60 degrees, and finally followed by 90 degrees. So 45 degrees becomes the hinge point of discussion because 45 degrees make a right angle triangle, as an isosceles right angle triangle. So which I know sine 45 degrees, we wrote it as under root of 2 by 4, and we know that from the diagram that we had taken here using this concept, the circle, rectangle, etc. And if I say that sine is directly proportional to the perpendicular keeping the hypotenuse constant, mark the words being used. In that case, can I say 0, 1, 2 was already there, followed by 3, followed by 4. And once you know this, and now using these two things that we had discussed, the complementary angle, so can I say sine 0 degree will be equal to cos 90, which is just like saying this will be root of 4 by 4. And then the decreasing order for the numerator keeping the hypotenuse constant. So this becomes a very handy technique, which now becomes a tip for you, which is just like the tip of the iceberg, and it becomes so easy for you now to combine everything that we would have talked about and to make it further interesting. Now I can say sine of theta, where theta is an acute angle. So if I talk about theta such that theta is an acute angle, so I'm basically referring to the first quadrant. Now when I say first quadrant, it includes theta is equal to 0 degrees to a 90 degrees. So I'm basically referring to these three, right? So can I say this varies? Now the answer is quite obvious. We are basically talking about all the whole numbers from 0 to 4 to be taken as a part of the numerator, wherein the denominator remains constant, and for all the same values of cos theta, you just have to remember the decreasing order of the numerator, which is the base, upon the hypotenuse, which is going to remain as 4. In short, sine theta is equal to under root of the successive whole numbers from 0 to 4 for successive values of theta being 0 degrees, 30 degrees, 45 degrees, 60 degrees and 90 degrees divided by 4. I hope that this discussion takes your the learning level to an interesting one, where it becomes a fantastic experience for you.